Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Ben Olson. That's Nathan Fox. We're the founders of LSATdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. We have an email here from CD. The subject is, should I keep applying?
Did you buy CDs back in the day?
Oh yeah, I went to, oh my God, what's the name of that store that I would always go to? They're
Oh
totally
yeah,
closed
in
now.
the mall.
Tower Records, is that it?
Tower Records is a cool, yeah, that's like actually a cool record store. I remember going to like just the mall branded one. I can't remember what it was called now,
Oh
but yeah, going in and buying
yeah,
myself
flipping through it, and then you could like listen over on
oh
a
yeah, they had like
CD
a
player.
station that you could go listen to, and it was like actually a CD player.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Okay. So CD says, I applied to 23 schools, mostly in the top 20, but also some safety schools lower out. I have a 169 LSAT and a 3.96 GPA. If it's relevant, I will have 2 bachelor's and a master's, and I'm applying straight out of college at a mid-tier university. I'm getting anxious about not getting good offers or even admitted most places I applied, and I'm wondering whether I should continue applying. Do I have any realistic chance at financial aid in the top 14? I know you guys preach not paying for law school and also that the salary statistics lie. But if I get into one or more T14 and also get a sizable offer from a lower tier school, it'll be a difficult decision to make. I have almost no preferences regarding location or specific school. Should I continue applying to schools I'm likely to receive scholarship offers from before it gets too late in the cycle? Uh, man. Thanks, CD, for writing in. I hope that we can make you feel better. It's a buyer's market, especially for somebody like you. You've
Mhm.
got a great GPA, you've got a solid LSAT. I wonder if maybe you could have worked on that a little bit more and gotten a few more points, because then you would have been an elite applicant. So with a 169, you are a stretch at a lot of the schools in the T14. But I would think that especially with those grades, you're just a wheelhouse applicant for a lot of these schools. But the schools, they've created this system where you're applying in the fall and they don't really give decisions until the spring. And so you're sitting there over the holidays with your friends and family asking you about applications and you're just waiting. And I
Yeah.
remember, Ben, do you remember waiting? I remember the 3 weeks waiting to get my LSAT score back. Those 3 weeks sucked. I remember just like refreshing and
Yeah.
refreshing and refreshing, hoping
Oh,
to get my score
wait,
earlier.
you got it online? I got it in the mail. I remember pulling it out of a manila envelope.
No shit. Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
mine, no, it was online by that point. I guess I must have taken it a couple years after you did.
Yeah.
Um, and then uh, waiting for schools is way, way worse. And I think,
Mhm.
it's just it's part of the negotiation, right?
Yeah.
It's that like, let me go. Well, I got to go talk to my manager about that, and then the dealer car guy, sales guy goes in the back and he's just in there shooting the shit with his buddies, drinking coffee, making
Yeah.
you sweat a little bit
So you ready to go
before
back
he
out?
comes
He's like,
back
no,
with
no, let me get one more sip.
nah, let's let him sweat for a while before
Yeah.
we give him the actual price. That's all this is, like it's not just hang out, dude. You've applied to 23 schools. You're going to get some good offers if your documents are in order. You're going to get some good offers. What are
Yeah.
you recommending?
Well, I put the 3.96 and the
Yeah.
169 into the LSAT Demon Scholarship Estimator. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's true that in the top 14, especially, I'm only seeing unlikely or less than half. So I'm not surprised that they haven't gotten back to you yet. But when you start to get up into the schools that are in the 20s, North Carolina, possible stipend, Wake
Same at
Forest.
Wake Forest, same at
Yeah.
Texas A&M, full
Yeah.
tuition to Ohio State, Boston College, BYU. I hope that you have applied. Well, if you've applied to 23 schools, then, necessarily you're going to be getting into some of these schools. But I think you are a home run scholarship applicant at many schools ranked, somewhere between 20 and 40.
Yeah, so hopefully you get a better than expected scholarship offer at some of the schools in the top 14, and then you can decide what you want to do. How much you ultimately, it's not what the scholarship offer is, it's what you have to pay. And then you decide, okay, where is this likely to put me in the class? Like if you click on Georgetown, Georgetown is ranked 14, right? Right
Yep.
now, the scholarship estimator is showing you where in the class you are theoretically ranked based on your LSAT and GPA. And it puts
Sitting in the
you
middle row.
very in the middle, right? You're right in the middle. So, what are
Hmm.
your chances of success there? Well, you're likely to be in the middle of the class. If you're in the middle of the class and you look at their employment outcomes and see that most people don't get into big law, well, you have to look for Georgetown. I'm not looking right now. But if you were to look, you could say, okay, well, then my chances of getting into big law are not that great. They're okay, but they're not great. So, yeah, you just have to ultimately it comes down to the offers you get and how much you're going to have to pay.
Yeah, I mean, don't waste too much time and energy, CD, doing a lot of stats at this point. I
Mhm.
mean, I understand that it'll be a hard decision to make if you get into one or more T14 and also get a sizable offer from a lower tier school. I understand that that's going to be a hard decision. You don't have to make that decision right now. You like you don't
Don't
you're
make it
solving
now, and you
problems
can't.
that
Yeah.
are not extant problems,
They're going to
right?
be wildly different depending on what offers actually come back. Like some will be an obvious no, and some, yeah,
Yeah.
might be in the gray area. And then then you start talking to the schools. Maybe one school comes back with a
Yeah.
little bit more, and that just makes it an obvious choice.
Yeah. Not to get too like woo woo or metaphysical or whatever, but this is a great example of why living in the moment is like related to happiness,
Hmm.
right? CD is driving themselves crazy here by working on problems that are not actually currently in existence.
Yeah,
Like you're not in that situation right now
that's
where you
true.
have to make that decision. You
Yep.
can't make that decision. You're working on a problem that you literally cannot solve at this point. And you don't even have that problem at this point. As far as you know, you're going to get admitted to Harvard and this is all going to become moot. By the way, Harvard, Stanford, Yale do need based scholarships, not merit based scholarships. So if you do, in fact, crack one of the very best schools in the world, you're likely to get need based aid instead of merit based aid because your numbers do not justify merit based aid in the top 14. But that doesn't mean that you wouldn't get need based aid if you got into the very, very best schools. So this problem is likely to, if it does appear, it's a good problem to have. And it also is likely to either not appear or to appear and then resolve itself through some later admission. We've seen people get denied by Berkeley, but then get into Harvard. So, like, we don't really know. You've done everything you can control, at least as far as applying broadly with a great GPA. Your LSAT leaves a bit to be desired. I would wonder whether you've reached your maximum LSAT potential because
Yeah,
that could make, every point could be worth 10 or 15 or $20,000 here.
yeah.
So it very likely might be worth it to retake the LSAT.
Well, my two pieces of advice would be one, if you haven't maxed out the number of attempts for your LSAT, just take it again. There's nothing to
Mm,
lose. If you do better,
right.
you win. If you do worse, nothing happens, nothing changes. The only thing you lose is your time. And it looks like you want to spend your time doing something. So do that. The other thing is you asked, should I apply to more schools that I'm likely to receive scholarships from? If you'd be willing to go to any of those schools, I would apply. It costs $100, but you have the potential to lock in
And doesn't even cost
$200,000.
$100. You're going to have to pay the LSAC report fee, but any school that you're thinking about here, if you say, hey,
Yeah.
I've got a 169, 3.96, I got few waivers at other schools, do you think you could waive your scholarship? You ask them to waive the LSAC report fee as well,
Yeah.
because they
If
can
you're on
sometimes
the
do that.
fence. Yeah. This is where
Yeah.
the negotiation begins to say, hey, I'm interested
Yeah.
in your school, but can you waive these fees are too much for me? And then
Yeah.
just apply to any school that waives them. Now all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're going for free and you get these potential offers.
Say the fee at their school is too much. Don't say, I'm applied to 23
Yeah,
schools
yeah,
and
yeah.
these fees really add up.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then you're tipping your hand too much and they're going to be like, well, this person's just going to deny us anyway. So let's not bother. But if instead you say, I'm really interested in your school, but boy, the application fee on then the $45 or whatever it is now,
Yep.
fee from LSAC, is there any way you could help me out here? I've heard of some schools waiving application fees, waiving LSAC report fees. Is that something that you can actually do for me?
Yeah.
See what happens and throw in a couple more applications. That's fine. But yeah, the LSAT's the thing that's going to really blow open the doors here. So that's where I would be putting my focus, I think, if I were you.
Yeah.
Thanks for writing in. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you would like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.